You are now entering That One Studio for the What Are You Made Of show with your host, Mike C-Roc, and his guest, who will be sharing what they're made of. The journey to success has been invisible until now. Sit back, relax, get your notepad ready, and enjoy the show.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yo, what's up? What's up? All right, guys, calm it down. Calm it down. Thank you to the audience. Thank you. It's your boy C-Roc back in That One Studio for the What Are You Made Of show. Excited today about the guest that we have in front of us. We're going to be sharing his journey to success, which we all know the journey to success is invisible. And we need to expose that so that other people are encouraged and inspired as they're going on their journey to wherever the heck they're going, that they don't stop and they keep going. And today I have Ted Phaeton in the room. He's not really in the room, but he's in the studio. He's a husband, son, dog, dad, and high-performance men's coach. His show, The Modern Man Podcast, provides the tools, resources, and community needed to help men elevate their capacity for life. He also shared with me that he knows about the weather. We'll be talking about that a little bit, too, because I took a weather and climate class in college. Just one. Oh. Makes me an expert. Ted, welcome to the show, man.
C-Roc, what's going on, man? After that intro, bro, I'm ready to get it. Let's go.
Let's do it, man. So so let's get this show started the right way. I start it the same way every time just to keep me out of trouble and getting off track. And that's with the question, what are you made of?
All right. So I'll start with made of love, made of integrity, character, discipline, a little bit of muscle, and a lot of ambition, humility. I think that's kind of the recipe that comes top of mind for today.
Yeah. Okay. I love it. I love it. So we talked a bit about this before the show and in the green room, where you're from and where you are now and all that stuff. But let's talk first of all, like, what are you doing now? You have the podcast, you're into the weather, but like, what are you doing now? What's your focus, your main focus right now?
My main focus, top of up is I'm looking to help men grow, operate at their best selves, and as part of my mission with Modern Man, connecting men in pursuit of their potential. A lot of that of wanting to be the best man I can be, seeking male mentorship, and I recognize how mental health disproportionately impacts men, and we are best when we are in pursuit of our potential. So that's my. How can I pour into other men? How can I see eye to eye go through the share some of the things I've learned along the way, learn from others along the way, and just keep elevating each and every single day.
So that's what you're working on now, right? And then what's the vision? Like, if I could, snap my fingers and, because we all know, we talk about this all the time. Intention leads to what you pay attention to. Attention, what you're paying attention to, validates what's in existence. And then that's how you cause and create your future and cause and create your universe. So what is your intention?
Well, my intention is building a community. So I mentioned the Modern Man, the podcast, and the mission is connecting men in pursuit of their potential. With that community group that we serve weekly calls in, and the intention is having men have these deep relationships with each other, because we're not quick to say we need help, but do great. Make some money. Let's start businesses. Let's scale our businesses. Let's get leads. Let's go through sales trainings. We're good at that. Those relationships and having real conversations about our marriage, our mental, more than just the score of the game last night. We build those meaningful relationships, and that eventually will give the parachute we need when life gets heavy, when life punches us in the face, marriage gets rocky, your business gets bankrupt, things like that, because life is going to punch us in the face. So the intention is the mastermind group, building those connections, and then bringing back, we had conferences, live conferences. This is pre-COVID. And now we're working on building another retreats. It's all about everything we do with the intention of providing a platform for these relationships to flourish and grow. And the irony about what I'm doing is the success is them not needing it anymore. They need the podcast, if they no longer need the mastermind because they have those meaningful relationships in their lives, it's a win. And I don't know if that's a good business model, but at least it helps the world, bro.
Nah, it does. And the other thing, it keeps you on the grind and hustling to find new members. So you don't get comfortable and complacent. You're always looking to add members to the group, right? Because there's going to be a leak of success coming out of it. And I love it. There's the same thing with a job and a business that you're building. Like my employees, I want to build them so that they could go anywhere. Because imagine if you operate that way and take care of them so they don't want to go anywhere. I mean, you'd be unstoppable in your business. But most people don't operate that way. They operate out of a fear of loss. And if you just know that you're doing everything you need to be doing, I mean, you have nothing to be worried about. So no, I love that. So you're going to be doing retreats, conferences, and a community. How's that community work once you start? I don't know if you have it yet or if you're building it now, but like, is it like meeting on Zoom once a week, once a month? Like, what's that look like?
So we Wednesday 6 p.m. That's the mastermind group. It's to kind of join in there. We have the Discord channel to kind of keep in touch with each other, help each other. We do each call, we go over our wins, our challenges, and our action plan. It used to be wins and losses, but I find like men aren't really bosses, so we changed it to challenges. And challenges is a whole different ball game. It's like, challenges is something I can talk about, right? We all go through challenges. Life is rough, and there's a thing about men I noticed. We like talking about the struggle. If it's easy, we don't want it, right? We kind of want the struggle. We want to sweat a little bit. We want to get in the arena and get bloodied up a little bit, and that's what it's all about. So every week, Wednesdays, we meet on Zoom. In between, we communicate on Discord. We also have that books, resources, templates. We just share resources because it's all about the coming together of minds for us to operate at our best selves. I've had problems when I talk to another man. They're like, "Oh, come on, man! I went through that 5 years." Boom. So just that male mentorship. It's all about. I joke. I say, "Save me money and save me jail time, man," because I'm trying to get to the next level. I'm trying to be my best self, and I know other people have gone through certain challenges. The game on hard or play the game on all Madden. Now that might be great to play the game on all Madden, but I codes from the guys that have come before me, learn from their mistakes, not have the scars, but still get the wins.
Yeah, I love that, man. I think that, we can become calloused when we go through it ourselves and all that. But if we have the answers, it allows us, frees us up, not to just get the answers and then go do that thing, but it frees us up where we can be more creative and human ingenuity can take place. Instead of worrying about present time problems, those problems are fixed through the mentorship, and then it opens our creativity up. You find that happening?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I mean, the flow of ideas when we start getting into our mastermind group and the conversations, man, they range from like, well, hey, what are the challenges? One person's like, is this? The next person's like, I just found out my son's watching porn, right? Now, those are some real conversations. Leads in the business is important. We talk about that conversation. But to even talk, oh, okay, well, I sat down, I confronted him. And then a younger member to be like, does he have a Nintendo Switch? It's got internet, bro. It's like, I had no idea. So you can help the older generation and vice versa because we're looking at the problem from multiple different ways. This is it. And I'm telling you it's a 6. And you're like, no, bro, it's a 9. We're both right. But if I don't have the humility to come see your problem, I'm never going to see the two numbers. And that's what I'm finding happens in the group is we identify things that we might not have seen a certain way. And you said something before. We're in current problems and what's going on today. And for anybody listening or watching on YouTube right now, what I've identified for a lot of guys, that what they found was hardest things they've gone through, they never knew why. Right? Like, why did I have to go through this? Losing my business, losing my marriage. Why did I have to go through this? The magic is we go through the adversity to help somebody else, man. Like you are uniquely equipped to help somebody else go through it. Overcame alcoholism and quit drinking. Now they're ironically equipped to help the other person who's trying to quit drinking because it's like, hey man, I've been in your storm. Let me get you, grab you, and let's go through this, bro. You'll make it out like I made it out. And that's what the biggest thing is because I think that just us as men are quick to like look eye to eye and be like, I don't think you understand. But when you find someone that does, man, I think that's where the pull and the magic happens.
Yeah, I love it, man. 100% agree. So where did you start, man? Where did it all start for you? I know you said you're from New York and all that. Like, take me through it, man. What was like childhood like, and what did you go through to create this passion that you have for building men?
Yeah, man. It started messy. I'm the son of two immigrants from Haiti. Uh, Mother and father worked a lot, so growing up in but I didn't want for anything, but we weren't rich. But my parents sent me to Catholic school, and that gave two perspectives. The crackhead, there was a drug dealer who sold crack to his mom to pay the rent, and then I would go to Catholic school where an 18-year-old is selling weed out of his H2 Hummer just to be cool. Identified really quick. Working hard doesn't necessarily make you rich, but it gave me the taste of finer things and it gave me work ethic. Go to college, almost failed out. 1.9 GPA after my first year. Computer science, not biology. My morning job as a morning meteorologist. Through adversity on that. Graduated on time, 2010, right after the market crash. No one's hiring. So I'm working at a law firm, not really doing much with my time. Then I decided to, and I started noticing that a lot of lawyers had these like papers with blue tags on them. Court cases actually had slip and fall accidents. So I was like, bro, you're spending like an hour, 2 hours deciphering this weather data. I can decipher it, type up a memorandum, and get it to you in 15 minutes. So at the law firm, I became a weather consultant. Started my own business covering weather. I would do forecasts for the law firm and locally. Had a couple business partners. We grabbed a camera. We'd go to forecast for events for the week and be like, oh, it's going to be nice out. You're definitely going to want to go to the Giants game. So that was my first, I guess, taste of business. And all that was the 3 years of me trying to get into TV. Waited in 2010. I didn't go on air for the TV job until June 2013. So all that time, I was trying to start a business and break into it. And then I got diagnosed with ulcerative colitis, autoimmune disease, put weeks, lost 30 pounds in a month. And that was a change, bro. I blamed everything on. But in that hospital bed, the doctor was taking my blood. He's like, what is your diet like? I'm like, well, I'm eating fast food 3 times a week. He's like, what is your stress level? But I'm drinking it away on the weekends. You know, the doctor was just this to yourself, man. So ever since then, I got out of the hospital. I saw the grass was greener on the way home that day. The sky was bluer. Hospital on top of a mountain, snowboarding. From there, I decided to get a raise. My parents' house, started applying to jobs, got a TV job a year later, and that just kicked off the trajectory to everything that came forward.
And do you have like aspirations to go further in the weather side of things, or are you looking to get everything else picked up and running so that you can put that to the past?
Oh man, hopefully my boss ain't watching this.
Oh no. Hey, visions and dreams, man. Visions and dreams.
Exactly. I love what I do. I'm not a big fan of the confines in which I do it. I think my heart pulls me towards this mission that I'm working on right now. I get more fulfillment in it. If you weather versus 6 figures to do what I do now. Also because I understand to go farther into my career, and hats off to those that continue to excel. The family. I'm married, have a kid on the way, and I just identify wholeheartedly that my time is not my own as long as I work for somebody else. Give my life, give my heart to this mission. Money, have a little more time, and make a little more impact.
Yeah. So when you started this podcast and the company, the community and all that, like take us through how you designed it and created it, because you made it out of scratch, right? I mean, you made it from scratch.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm a big startup guy. I like startups. I like being creative. I like building things, and not every aspect of it and not every moment of it, but take us through that. Like what, like the creative part of that, like how did that happen? And then did you add team members yet? Where are you with that? All that stuff.
Yeah. So I think with great growth usually comes with the push of somebody else. And for me, I just went from being a meteorologist to a morning anchor. Wasn't a big fan at first. Curve. So I started podcasting. I'm chasing this business kind of mindset. And there's an entrepreneur by the name of Tyler Harris in my city who, yeah, and he's like, yo, man, let's grab coffee, let's sit down. He was the first person I told about the idea of getting men together. He had a videographer. He's like, you know what, bro, let's do it. One episode. Me, him, a friend of his, a friend of mine, we spoke for 90 minutes on a single question of what does it mean to be a man these days. Hey, let's do it again. Let's do it again. We did 11 episodes our first season. After that, Tyler calls again. Hey man, you ever think of doing this live? I was like, bro, I'm writing out a conference idea right now. So he's like, all right, let's do a conference. I'm like, okay, what do you think? 6 months, 7 months? He's like, let's do June. He's calling me on May 1st, bro. So I'm like, all right, let's plan a conference in 30 days. And this is the pressure of a man ahead of me, a business owner. He's doing well and he knows what I'm capable of. So I found the venue, put out the information because of the episodes that we were doing on YouTube with mom. We got traction. So we got the first conference. 50 guys came out the first time. It happened a few months later. Third conference happened January 2020. Whole year lined up, but we all know how it happened, COVID. So then we switched virtual. We did virtual conferences after that. And with everything that happened, I had a team, I had a panel, but these guys were just volunteering their time. I wasn't paying. When the pandemic happened, they had things to worry about. They had to worry about their businesses, and their family afloat. So I altered and I switched. What can I do? What does Ted have as a skill that community? I have the gift of gab. I could talk a lot. I have this microphone. I could do a podcast. So that was where the idea for the Modern Man podcast play, for facilitating these conversations for the community and then building the mastermind for us to really get together. And of course, retreats and all that. I'm a very kind of down the line thinker, as I'm sure a lot of your listeners are as well. You build the big vision, start with the end in mind, and then chunk it away. So with the podcast, I have an editor, show notes writer. I have a bit of the team that works on the back end to help monetize and just also help outsource so I can keep my mind focused on pushing this forward, feeding the community, and leaning into those money-making aspects, which would be.
Yeah, and then as far as the events, you haven't started up new live events yet?
We have not started up new live events yet. I'm actually currently in the talks of. This is the best thing about imperfect action. First few times I get it, you go to the venue, you tell them what you want to do, you charge your card. I got to go make this money. Doing that 3 times, thankfully, I was never in the red once by like $20, but I was in the black. And I'm okay with even or black while growing this. Like Amazon didn't collect their profits till 14 years. That's how you do business, right? A lot of people don't realize that. So I'm okay with that. But with the reps that I've done, I've also identified that as much as I could throw my money at it, I'm still playing small with just my money because the guests that I can acquire, right? I can't write a $1,000 check for a speaker charge if that's what they charge, right? So if I the community and I want to get these some big a cast of keynote speakers, get the venue for not just an afternoon but a weekend, that's going to take a little bit more in terms of the financial upfront. So for that's still down the line, but I'm recognizing I know the playbook, how to put this together. Now it's just acquiring the investments, acquiring the sponsorships. So when it's going to be done the way I think is going to be serving the men and what they need.
Yeah. Have you ever thought about this when it comes to conferences? Because I'm thinking about this as well. But doing, differentiation is so important when it comes to business, right? And there's a lot of conferences out there, and a lot of them ran the same way, whether it's the 10X Growth Conference or the one that just went off, their Silicon Slopes, and there was another one called Thrive. Like all these ones, they have people show up, they have a VIP section, a diamond section, and a whatever, and then they have speakers. And then they have after party possibilities or meetups. But like it's the same thing for every single one of them. So I'm thinking to myself when I do mine or retreat or whatever, I need it to be different. Mm-hmm. I don't want to do it the same way. Now, one aspect is, well, if that way works, you got to do what works. But also, man, I'm just like thinking about uniqueness, right? Like, do you think about that and not setting it up the same way where there's just speaker after speaker after speaker and then a break and then.
Yeah. I mean, the way I think about it and just how the community has grown and come together. Men like getting their hands dirty, right? Like we like being active. And when I see the conference, I mean, yeah, the keynote speaker, good. Shops, right? Little lessons, workshops for different needs are also good. What is there a physical challenge aspect to it? Is there an interactive aspect? A lot of the guys, they want to touch and feel what they're interacting. They don't want to just sit in a seat and be spoken to. Class. This is something that's
Right.
going to be beneficial more ways than just our knowledge. We're trying to how you build a bond with somebody. I'll tell you what, if we just met, really wanted to get to know you, we'd go through a workout. I want to do something that sucks, man, because that's going to
Yeah.
build a bond.
Yep.
If you build an experience and you're out there, you might have thought about quitting once or twice, but you don't even know me. Like, come on, Ted, you got this. Just those little aspects, those interactive aspects, is what builds. It's the communication, the relationship, the bonding, and it's going. At the end of the day, rites of passages are important because there's, and I think for us men, subconsciously we size each other up, knowing it. But when we go through a difficult period, when we go through something hard, and we see like, yo, this was heavy. C-Roc went through it with me. Like, he a real one, man. Like, let me get his number out. Let me see what else he's got going on because I've seen the proof in his performance. So I don't know else, if that makes sense. So when you ask the question,
Yeah.
thought process, yes, I think of the interactiveness. I think of how can I make this. I got a cool little goodie bag, had a couple drinks, met some people, got some cards, and came home. I want there to be more than just that basic experience.
Yeah, a big thing for me, like I play golf, and when I play golf with someone, I can tell a lot about them. You get 3 hours, 4 hours with someone, you could tell a lot about them. Bad shots, how they react, do they make excuses? But you're in the performance realm, and let's shift focus to performance here because I think a big part of performance is responsibility. To what degree does someone assume responsibility for the outcomes of their life, even from the outside, where it appears that like somebody would say, well, it's not your fault, man. Like that you couldn't control this, and this. But the person still takes responsibility and says, well, I had something to do with it. And so, for me, I see that. And when I hang out with somebody doing something tough or something doesn't go right, or they're working with a customer and the customer's a pain in the butt customer, quote unquote, right? And then they blame the customer. They blame that person as they're just a pain in the butt customer, this and that. I watch all that stuff. I align myself with people that take responsibility because the last thing you do, and I want to get your thoughts on this, last thing you want to do, you surround yourself with somebody with low responsibility before, if they haven't blamed you yet, it's coming. And so when you're doing your community, how much is responsibility talked about? And when you're performance coaching or in performance, how much do you talk about that?
I'm extreme ownership type thought process, right? I think responsibility is, too much is given, much is needed, right? And that aspect comes into the degree of the responsibility you take is going to be the degree of effort you need to put in. And what I mean by that is when it was just me and I talk to the guys about this, we talk about, hey, when it's just you, man, you could eat ramen, you could sleep on a cot, you could risk it all. I'm not as risk tolerant as I used to be. Why? Because I have a wife, I have a kid on the way, I have a dog. I need to be responsible for other people, but I can't blame my wife, my dog for the lack of risk that I take. I need to be aware of what I do. So I'll start with percent responsibility. If something happens in your world, sure, it might not be your fault, but it is your responsibility. On the doorstep analogy. Have you heard that before?
Yeah.
Yeah, like the baby's on your doorstep. You open the door, the baby's there. It's not your fault. What happens next is your responsibility. That's how I treat life, right? Something can happen beyond, but you still control your response and how you also control the preparation in which you pour into happens. So if you are on stage and you have your big breakthrough choke, is it the fault of because the light was in your eyes, or is it because this, that, the other? No, you probably didn't prepare enough, bro. And that's just And in our group, we encourage everyone to take responsibility for themselves. That's why we go the wins, action. Okay, great. You talked about your challenge. What happened? Challenge, right? Someone said, hey man, I got into a wreck, got into a fender bender, somebody hit me. Great, not your fault, but now you better be responsible for what happens next. And that's how we treat it.
I love it, man. So as we wind down here, what's the best way for people to engage with you further?
Yeah, man, I appreciate the opportunity. TheModernManPodcast.com. You can find the podcast. There's links to all the social. The Modern Man Podcast on Instagram. That's our show clips, little headshots of me just sharing random things that have helped me along the way. And those two areas will give you everything else that we do.
Love it. Love it. Well, you know, what one thing I want to point out to you, something that's working for me, and I'd love to ask you this question, like, what is your method of outreach currently besides the podcast? Do you have like ways that you're reaching out to people to add members to your group? Because I use DMs on Instagram a lot, and I have this software that we use called That One Chat that has everything dialed in and systematized that makes it, I mean, I'm booking Ted, like this is no bullshit, 30 to 40 calls per week, and we're scaling it to 100 from Instagram DMs, not spamming people, not like genuinely connecting with people. We have a strategy behind it. It's working, and we're helping other people do that have programs, that have agencies, that have businesses that their people are on social media. And so I didn't know if you have anything, or you use the DMs at all?
I use DMs. I use X, formerly known as Twitter, and Instagram DM. Anyone's like, where are my leads? You put out content. The people that engage with your content are your lead. If they like it or anything like that. My strategy is usually acknowledge, question, qualify. What I mean by that, acknowledge. Hey man, so you like me? That's how I know them, right? Don't just pop in their DM and say, hey, acknowledge. So you like my post. Like about it. That's the question. And then qualify. What challenges are you facing in your life right now? Do you even need what I offer, right? So that's been a good way of not only getting responses, but every time I do the DM, it ends in a transaction, right? Because somebody liked my post, or they followed me, or they commented, and in the DM, they're like, hey, yeah, good stuff. I don't really need your help, but like your content. Well, by the way, boom, I have a podcast. You mind giving me a rating, subscribe to my YouTube channel? And they're like, yeah, sure, no problem, right? So I still get a transaction in the DM, even if it isn't booking the call. With the acknowledge, question, qualify.
I love it. That's awesome. Yo, I got to show you this thing though, because what you just talked about right there, if you add this to it, it'll put you on like some rocket fuel stuff.
I was just going to say, what was
Ted,
the name
thank
of
you
that
so
program?
much. Yeah. Well, guys, listen, if you're listening and you want to know that, and you want to be able to really put some rocket fuel on your DM strategy and your outreach without spamming people, that the number one chat.com, that the number one chat.com. You can go to that site. You can check out more information there. And you can also get a free demo. We just click the button on there and schedule a demo. We're building a community around this, around people that reach out there to DM and masterminding around this. And it has been phenomenal. We're using it in our business, so we've put it together for everybody else to have access to. And it alleviates a lot of paid ad requirements. So you don't need to spend money on paid ads. So I'll share that with all of you. That one, the number one chat.com. Go check it out. Hit a demo. And Ted, we'll have a follow-up call after the show. I'll talk to you about some more things I can help you with. I'm an elevator, man. I'm known as the elevator, not the refrigerator like Refrigerator Perry, but I'm the elevator.
Oh, man, I appreciate it.
So,
I'm looking forward to that.
All right, man. Well, thanks for being here. Thank you all for listening or watching here on the What Are You Made Of show from That One Studio with your boy C-Roc. Until next time, be that one. C-Roc in the building. Trust is a must.